Welcome back to the Epic Time Walks channel. Get ready for a true journey through time. In today's video, we'll explore England during the Victorian and Edwardian eras. With rarely seen images, stay with me until the end as the conclusion might surprise you. Don't forget to leave a like to support our work and share your thoughts in the comments. A picturesque scene, almost like a painting, shows three people in a small sailboat gliding over the calm waters of the Norfolk Broads in 1886 in the background. An old house with smoke rising from the chimney adds a bucolic charm, capturing the serenity of English rural life at the time. Working girls, known as herring girls from the Isle of Man, wash their clothes after a long day of work in Port St. Mary. Around 1890, the scene portrays the tough routine of these young women who played a vital role in the local fishing industry while balancing domestic responsibilities. A couple with a baby, refugees from the floods, stand in front of a rag shop in Lambeth, London. In 1877, the annual Thames floods brought constant hardships to local residents, especially the poorest who lived along the river's vulnerable banks. A farm laborer plowing a field pauses to check his watch at dinner time in Whitby, 1890. In 1895, a woman poses provocatively, wrapped only in a sheet, for a bold studio portrait. People gather in a dim alley in the Whitechapel slum, East End of London in 1888, the year Jack the Ripper terrorized the area. He could have been anyone, a man walking down the street, having a drink in a pub, or perhaps a sinister presence lurking in the background of an otherwise ordinary photograph, keeping the city in dark suspense. Everyday life on the streets of Liverpool in 1880 is captured as a barefoot girl, dressed in rags, crosses the street. Bathers enjoy a lively sunny day at Margate Beach in 1910. The city's popularity as a tourist destination was already drawing visitors, reflecting the beginning of the golden age of coastal tourism in Edwardian England. A weary-looking newspaper seller works on the streets of Ludgate Circus, London in 1890. In a scene captured in 1902, a London policeman uses his lantern to inspect a man sleeping on the street. A mother browses with a novelty goods vendor displaying his products on a handcart on the streets of London, 1877. An 1880 postcard shows the Countess of Clancarty in a fantasy costume, better known by her stage name, Belle Bilton, a renowned singer, actress, and music hall performer. Her journey from the stage to the aristocracy reflected the complex relationships between fame, theater, and Victorian society. An old, retired fisherman is seen standing at the door of his home in Whitby in 1880. His posture and distant gaze seem to tell stories of a life devoted to the sea. A fishing family gathers on the Whitby dock in North Yorkshire in 1890. The father, mother, two boys, and a girl lovingly watch the baby nestled in a basket. A woman walks elegantly through the streets of Kensington, London in 1906 during the Edwardian era. Henry Freeman, renowned lifeboatman from Whitby, photographed around 1890 wearing a cork life jacket. He was the sole survivor of a tragic accident in which a Whitby lifeboat from the Royal National Lifeboat Institution capsized. Jane Forbes, arrested for theft on January 26, 1905, during the Edwardian era. Women accused of crimes were required to pose for police photos, often publicly displayed, reflecting the moral rigidity and punitive outlook of the time. Large ships are docked in the bustling port of Whitby, one of them with a partially raised sail on its mast. In 1880, in the background, the coastal town is visible, reflecting Whitby's significance as a maritime and commercial hub during the Victorian era. Portrait of Polly Swallow, a fisherwoman from Church Street, holding a fishing net in Whitby, 1880. In this 1890 photograph, three young fisher girls carrying straw baskets watch attentively as a boy carves a piece of wood in Whitby. Sharpshooter hunters pose with their dogs in the damp landscapes of the Norfolk Broads in 1886. The scene captures the traditional sport of hunting, a popular activity among the Victorian elite. Photograph of Connie Gilchrist, a young British dancer and singer portrayed as Abdallah in The 40 Thieves at the Gaiety Theatre in 1880. In the Victorian era, it was common for actors and actresses to pose for studio photos, whether in everyday or theatrical attire, reflecting the glamour and theatricality of the time. A fisherman carefully polishes his telescope in the backyard of his London home, while his wife appears focused on crocheting in the background in 1887. A photo of Whitby docks in 1910 shows two men in the foreground, both wearing bowler hats, a symbol of status at the time. A woman and two fishermen from Whitby chat by the seaside in 1889, likely discussing the day's work. Edwardian high society ladies stroll elegantly through Hyde Park, London in 1905, showcasing long, sophisticated dresses complemented by ornate parasols. A street photographer is captured in action on Clapham Common, London in 1877, working with his mobile booth. This scene was documented by John Thomson as part of a collaboration with writer Adolphe Smith, capturing the everyday lives of urban workers for the renowned project Street Life in London. In the slums, entire families were forced to carry all their belongings when evicted, facing constant moves and insecurity. This photograph, dated around 1901, captures one such family amid a forced relocation, a common scene in the poorest areas of the time. An 1857 portrait shows two women, apparently mother and daughter, gathering firewood in the rural English countryside during the Victorian era. A photo of 21-year-old Winston Churchill wearing the uniform of the 4th Queen's Own Hussars Regiment in 1895. This young military officer would later become the legendary Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, leading the nation through critical times during World War II. A woman displays her long hair in a photograph from around 1890. In the Victorian era, women's hair was considered a symbol of status and femininity, carefully maintained and often grown long as a sign of virtue and grace, reflecting the era's rigid beauty standards. This 1880 photo shows a young fisherwoman examining fishing lines at the old seaport of Whitby on Yorkshire's east coast. A photograph of Queen Victoria, dated around 1860, capturing Her Majesty during a key period of her long reign. A milkmaid and a farmhand exchange conversation in a rural area of North Yorkshire in 1890. The simple scene depicts the slow pace of Victorian country life, where farm work and community interactions were essential parts of daily life. A young shoeshine boy attends to his customer on the streets of London in 1877. The scene captures the reality of working childhoods in the Victorian era, when boys from poor backgrounds performed small jobs to survive amidst the city's growing industrialization. A gentleman with a cane chats with a group of fisherwomen in the small town of Whitby, North Yorkshire, in the late 19th century. Everyday life in the narrow lanes and alleys of Whitby, North Yorkshire in 1880 is captured in an image that immortalizes scenes from a long-forgotten era. These photographs forever preserve the simple rhythm and hidden stories of a local community amidst the expansion of the Victorian era. Two waste collectors on the streets of London in 1877, alongside a horse-drawn carriage, carry out their daily tasks. Italian street musicians play a harp, drawing curious listeners on the bustling streets of London in 1877. These traveling performers were a common part of the Victorian urban scene, bringing foreign sounds and cultures to the heart of the cosmopolitan city. People on the narrow Taingot Street in Whitby, North Yorkshire in 1890. This bustling, lively street was demolished in the 1930s as part of urban renewal efforts, erasing a piece of local history in the name of modernization. People gather in front of J.W. Waldron Smith and Bicycle Shop in Brighton in 1900, reflecting the growing interest in bicycles at the turn of the century. July 1926, three female friends happily pose together on Shanklin Beach on the Isle of Wight. The photo reflects the vibrant lifestyle and spirit of camaraderie typical of British summers during an era of growing freedom for women. Two women wash dishes in the backyard of a London home in 1887, surrounded by buckets and kitchen utensils. Two women work winding wool into balls at their doorstep in Whitby, around 1880. July 1927, a woman captures a fellow beachgoer with her camera on the Isle of Thanet Beach. The scene reflects the relaxed spirit of the time as amateur photography was beginning to gain popularity, immortalizing moments of leisure on British beaches. A housemaid washes the steps of a home on Cheniston Gardens in London in 1906. A candid photograph captures a young Londoner dressed in the elegant street fashion of Edwardian women in 1906. This period is marked by sophisticated attire, with high-waisted dresses, lace, and adorned hats, reflecting the height of the post-Victorian era in London. Three young people enjoy a sunny day at Blackpool Beach around 1920. The image captures a moment of relaxation during a time of great social transformation, shortly after the end of World War I. On the morning of March 2, 1912, the RMS Olympic left was maneuvered into the dry dock in Belfast for repairs after breaking a propeller blade. Beside it, the RMS Titanic right remained moored at the fitting-out dock in the final stages of preparation. This occasion would mark the last time the two iconic White Star Line ocean liners were photographed together, shortly before embarking on their distinct historical journeys. Thank you for watching this video. If you've made it this far, you probably enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like and share your comments below. No matter where you are in the world, your support is essential to the channel. We're counting on your help.